How would £75 sound?
Oh, that's a really generous reduction. So I'm going to say yes. Thank you very much. And I ought to give you some cash.
Excellent. And again I say, pick up thy chair. And have a snooze while you figure out how to get it into the midget. Time to follow Christina a few miles northwest now to the town of Tiverton, a prosperous wool trading centre until the 18th century. But in 1815, wool was in serious decline and the fortunes of Tiverton were on a downward spiral. The race to get mechanisation was creating huge upheavals, and at Tiverton Museum, curator Pippa Griffith is on hand to tell Christina how, out of this industrial crucible, one man came to leave a permanent mark on the town.
Oh, look at all this. Gosh, it looks like our barn at home. It must have been an incredibly exciting time within the industry.
Absolutely. So the first factories were really springing up in the Midlands to house the new machinery that was being built. And of course, merchants were wanting to develop more complex fabrics, with the Holy Grail being lace. It took a long time to make by hand, and that's the reason why it had been a really expensive fabric. Originally, only the very wealthy people could afford to have lace.
You can tell it's handmade because it's all ever so slightly irregular, isn't it? There's no two pieces the same, no two panels. How on earth would you then start to make that in a factory, having had a little pincushion and all those little bobbins? How would that happen?
Well, that's a very good question, and one that really taxed a lot of inventors in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Step into the frame, one John Heathcote, a Derbyshire inventor and entrepreneur who had, in 1809, patented just such a machine for producing lace, which came to be known as bobbinet.
It's just so fine. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So he would have made the net, and then they would have gone and then embroidered over the top of this?
Yes, first of all by hand, but then of course later on as machinery developed with machines. Yes. And you can really see the hexagons in the background.
Like a honeycomb, isn't it?
Yes.
Delicious.
Heathcote's factory in Loughborough was attacked by Luddites who destroyed weaving machinery in protest against the loss of skills and employment. He moved his business to Tiverton, and 500 of his workers, men, women and children, walked the 200 miles here to a new life, creating a community and a business which continues to this day. Bert began here as a 15-year-old in 1950.
Clatter, clatter, clatter of the carriages. You had the point bar swooping down.
Yeah.
Everything down here was...
You wouldn't want to get your fingers stuck in it, would you?
You kept your hands away from this.
Yeah.
That was the most important part.
What was daily life at the factory like? What time did you start?
You could do 6 till 6.
6 in the morning till 6 at night?
It was a 58-hour week. I did 49 years. You got in there and...
Good career.
It was a good career, yes.
Heathcote was a philanthropic employer who, on arrival in Tiverton, set about creating a community around his mill. Bernard is another long-serving employee.
My father joined the company in 1913. He was only 12 and retired on his 65th birthday. And I came much later, 1951, and I managed 49 years. I was born in one of the houses that Heathcote took on when he came here. He acquired other properties, but also built a large number of terrace houses around in this area.
John Heathcote also had a high regard for education.
They was very keen that all his employees should be able to read and write. And if they couldn't read or write properly, then they worked during the daytime in the factory, but in the evenings were expected to come to the school to be able to learn to read and write.
Gosh, so not only was he a great philanthropist, he was also a bit of a taskmaster.
Well, I suppose he was in a sense, but he felt this was for the benefit of his employees outside of working hours as well. The social and economic future of the town basically depended on what happened here.
So a very important local figure.
He and his family really did make a very big impact on the town and really helped that sense of community.
Heathcote's machines made lace worn by royals from Queen Victoria to Princess Diana. MP for Tiverton for 27 years when he died in 1861, black cloth was laid along the streets as a mark of respect. talking of respect, Tim is rising manfully to the challenge of a limited budget.
You can buy antiques for relatively small money. I mean, you just have to hunt for them, and that's part of all the fun.
Keep on believing. Tim's headed now to Exeter, and his last hunting ground today is Exeter's Antique Centre on the Quay. Right, Tim, your time starts now.
These are just charming. Novelty pair of miniature brass bellows. What I'd love this to be is a powder flask. In the 19th century, powder was still used in guns for hunting or weaponry, and if you unscrew this, it actually is hollow. And I just wonder if that was filled with powder and you used it to powder your gun. Who knows? But that's the joy with antiques, you see. Some things just baffle you. £23. It's not too bad, is it?
Anything else in the firing line?
Little pipe. Perfect for my pipe rack. This is in the shape of the general in command of the armed forces in South Africa in the late Boer War period, General Buller. And he also was awarded the Victoria Cross, which is the highest gallantry award that you can get. General Buller died in 1908, I believe, and this may have been made at that time as a sort of memorial of when he died, or it could have been made while he was general during the Boer War. It's open to speculation. It could be late Victorian period, or it could be late Edwardian period. I'll put it back on the shelf and come back to it later on. I'll have a little think.
While Tim is cogitating, Christina is hoofing it in her new heels to her last shop of the day in the village of Heel. Fagin's is a large warehouse of antiques and salvage in an old cider factory.
So clearly, this, it's a really eccentric shop, isn't it? You've got luggage, you've got shop fittings, you've got mannequins. A bit spooky, you feel like they're going to kind of come alive at night, don't they? But that is quite magnificent. Look at that! And so rare to find such a complete bank of drawers. Really rare. It looks like it's mahogany on the front, but it just really kind of conjures up a time when we were still doing medicine by the four humours, and it was very much, you bled, or you had all these humours in your body that you had to balance to become healthy. I just think it's fantastic. Oh, look! Skins! Ooh! Oh, candles. There we go. Oh, I like this one. Various. I dread to think what price tag is on this. It's going to be an awful lot more than my £55, I think.
And 84 pence. While she sniffs out a bargain, is Tim any closer to making a dent in his £80? And 10 pence.
Hidden away there for me. Can't believe I didn't see that. This is an early 19th century or mid-19th century silver snuff box, and it's a French one. And on here is some lovely decoration, very fine little lines, and inside we've got the French hallmarks as well. So just a nice little 19th century silver box. Looking at the price, we have £19. It's not a lot of money for a bit of 200-year-old silver, is it? 200 years ago that was made, roughly, and now it's sitting on the side in a little shop in Exeter. I just love that. And I've got the opportunity to buy it for £19, which I'm going to do.
Attaboy.
Patsy, I found 3 items. I've gone through pretty much every cabinet, I think, in this lovely shop. The first thing was this silver continental box, and it was priced up at 19, so I won't haggle. I'll just take that.
Fair enough.
The second one were these pair of bellows. What do you think your very best price is? I think it's priced up at £23, isn't it?
Yes, they could be 20.
Fantastic, thank you. That's really good. And the pipe here with General Buller on the front. That was the third thing I found, and that's priced up at 29. What do you think your very best on that would be?
He could be 25.
25. Very generous, thank you. Perfect. I'll take the 3 if that's all right.
Okay.
£64, thank you. Meanwhile, what's Christina's story back at Fagin's?
Oh, I needed that.
Come on, old girl, shake a leg. We haven't got all day.
Well, this is what we commonly know as an Assuet shawl. They're usually Egyptian. Probably dates to the early 1920s. After the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in the early 1920s, the fascination with anything Egyptian, especially in Britain, was almost at fever pitch. Obviously, Henry Carter discovered Tutankhamun's tomb. And I would suggest that if that is priced at under £50, which I very much doubt that it is, then I think I'm going to have that.
Looks like a belly dancer's outfit to me. Time to talk to Chris.
Chris, tell me, what have you got out of interest? I know I won't be able to afford it, but what have you got on that amazing bank of pharmacy?
I've just sold that.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
What have you sold it for?
8,500.
Really?
You'd need to do 42.5 road trips to pay for that.
What have you got on your shawl?
It's nice though. It's all hand stitched. Do you know that? So it's £3,722.
Oh, is it? Okay, I
Put
better
to
go and put
you
it back.
15 quid.
£15?
It's snip.
I will have it now. Thank you very much.
That was easy.
Isn't it?
If only it was always that simple.
We could eat tonight, Lou.
Yay!
Win a lot all round. Anyway, Tim's on his way, so let's call it a day.
This is it, Timothy! Oh,
We're off to... Do you know where we're going?
Exmouth!
Oh, I've got a little bit of a fact about Exmouth for you. In 1970,
Wow me. Yes?
somebody found some Byzantine coins on Exmouth Beach. Should we go down there for a hunt?
I tell you what, I'll be having my cream tea.
And I'll go and search for some Byzantine coins.
We'll see who's in the money after some shut-eye. Who's up for a trip to the seaside, eh? We're off to Exmouth, where there's probably no time for Tim to go digging on the beach for ancient coins, at least. Not until after the auction, which is hosted today by Piers Motley. And the tables are groaning with all manner of things. Tim spent almost every bean he had, £149, on his 5 lots. Brave.
History doesn't really remember Fuller very kindly, unfortunately. I think there's a wonderful quote that says that he was an admirable captain, an adequate major, a barely satisfactory colonel, and a disastrous general. Whether these will turn out to be admirable purchases or disastrous purchases, time will tell.
Indeed it will. And Christina parted with £595 on her 5 lots. Doubly brave.
Look what Christina has found. What an absolute beauty. I think this really shows the wealth of Christina at this point of the competition. I wish I'd had the money to buy this. I don't think my budget would have stretched to it, but she's done so well finding this. What a thing. I absolutely love it, and I reckon all the buyers will as well.
Our auctioneer today is Piers Motley Nash, presiding over bidding in the room and online.
And the first thing I thought was, wow, what a find. Usually these things don't sort of turn up. As soon as it came on, we got it online, and it's actually the 3rd highest thing we have had in the sale viewed online. So we've got this little silver snuff box. It's early 19th century. It's got some engine turning in there, and it's a pretty little piece, and the sort of thing which people do collect in silver still these days.
Time to get the sale underway. Are you sitting comfortably?
Oh, I could sink into this. Lovely.
Snug. Good. Then we'll begin. And the Liberty Silver Tea Caddy by Archibald Knox is first. I can't look.
£330 I have, £340 now, £350 I have, any of us from £350. £360 easy life, £370 I have, £380 I have, £390 I have, £400 with you.
It's the internet against internet.
£400 I have, £410 I have, £420 with you. Yep, £420 I have, £430 with you. Last chance if you wish to bid again. I'll be saying if there are no other bids. Thank you.
It's the lady in the room.
Now in the room, £440 with you. £440 I have, £450, £460, £460 I have, £470, £480.
Keep going, lady in the room.
£480 I have, £490, £500, not at £500, £490 in the room. Any of us from £490. Last chance if you wish to bid again. All done at £490 then.
Do you know what? I was actually quite nervous.
And breathe. £90 to you, Mom.
Thank you. And
Tim's brass powder flask is the next lot.
Let's just hope it doesn't sell below what you paid for it.
Hey, I do the jokes.
At £10. At 10 I've been offered. £10 I have in the room. Any of us on £10?
That's cheap.
Any of us on £10? At 15, 20 and 5, 30 and 5. Not at 35, thank you.
One
£30
more.
on the floor, any of us on £30. Last chance if you wish to bid again. All done? Selling at £30 then.
Well done.
763, thank
I'm
you.
pleased.
Are you? You don't look very pleased.
No, I am.
Well, it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
It didn't set the world on fire.
Shush, Christina, shush.
Now it's her stunning secessionist cracked ewer.
At £60 then.
Such
At
a specky
£60.
purchase.
60 have been offered in the room. Any of us on £60? I will sell at that. There are no other bids.
Well, that seems very reasonable to me.
65 now. 70 I have on the internet. 75 with you.
Oh, there we go, they've woken up.
75. 80 with you internet. Last chance if you wish to bid again. All done. 80 now and 5.
He's working the
Not
room.
at 85. No. £80 I have. Last chance if you wish to bid again. All done. Selling at £80.
Oh, it's not my day, Timothy, it's not my day.
No profit to be had there, girl.
This is why I should not be given money to spend.
You didn't.
Invest it very unwisely.
Tim's pipe of General Buller is on parade next.
£15 I have. £20 I have on Easy Life. 25 with
Going.
you.
Here we go.
£20 I have. Any of us on £20?
Here we stop.
Any of us on £20?
It was a good start.
25 now in the room. 30 with you. £25 in the room. 30 now. 35. Last chance if you wish to bid again. All done, ladies and gentlemen. Selling at £30 then.
Hey,
Easy Life
Profit's a
bids,
profit,
thank you.
sweetheart. You have
Not
not
bad.
made one loss yet.
Yes, a small victory for the old warhorse.
It feels good. Relief.
Good.
Now it's the turn for Christina's pitch pine lectern.
Any interest at £35? No. 35 I've been offered. 40 with you. 35 I have
Really?
on Easy
You've got
Life.
a bid.
Any of us on £35? What? Any of us on £35? Are we all done then? I'll sell it down at another bids. All done at £35 then.
That's not bad.
It was a little bit painful. It was like ripping off a plaster.
That's cost her a fiver. Here endeth that lesson.
I think I slightly got out of jail there.
Yeah. Only just.
How will Tim's pipe rack in the form of a gate do next?
Who'll start me off? Let's hit £15 on this then, please. At £15 I have from the Netherlands, by the looks of it.
That's a good start.
£15 I have. Any of us on £15?
oh, we can't
Any of
stop
us on
there.
£15?
That was short and sweet, wasn't
At
it?
20 I have in the
Oh,
room.
in the room.
25 anywhere. 25 I have now. 30 with you. 25 I
You
have.
can put your
30
pipe
with
in
you.
it, madam.
Not at 30. 25 I have. Last chance if you wish to bid again. Selling at £25 then.
Oh, there we are. Oh, I'm pleased. £15.
More than double your money.
Yep, £15 in his pocket.
If you carry on doing this, I'm in trouble.
155s and
Had a bit of a streak.
Under the hammer now, Christina's Egyptian Assuit shawl.
£200, yeah.
15 with you.
Aim high,
£10 I have.
Christina.
Ross and £10. At 15 I have. 20 with you now. Sarah. 25
Got to
with you.
creep up
bit
to
of
that
a
£40 mark.
25 I have. 30 with you, Sarah. 30 I have.
Double
35
money.
with you, Easy Life.
Come on.
No, £30 I have, and it was £30. Last chance if you wish
I
to bid
think that's
again.
reasonable.
Gosh, that's
Look
very
like a
cheap.
bride in this one. Selling at £30 then.
Doubling your money again.
US
I'm
bid
not
there.
complaining.
Yes, £15 due this time.
That's fine. I'll take that
Very
and run.
Well done.
Tim's pine Gothic chair is up next. Incredibly uncomfortable.
At £25 to start me then.
Oh, we got 35.
35 I've now been offered. 35 I have. Oh no. 40 with you.
Okay, it's okay.
£35 on Easy Life. Any of us on £35?
Okay, it's not.
Are we all done? Oh no. Last bid. Last bid.
sad times.
Last chance then, please. All done. Selling at £35 then.
That's less than half of what it cost him. Ouch indeed.
It's okay, don't cry. Don't cry.
Maybe Christina's uncomfortable chairs will make her cry next. They're up now with the tables still tucked away.
£25 I have. Any of us on £25? 30 now on
There's
the
bids.
room. Any of us on £30?
Wow, there are two
At
people
35 in the
in
room.
the
40
world.
with you. 40 I have. And 5. 50 internet. And 5. Not at 55. £50 on the
not
internet.
bad,
Any of us
it
on
could have been.
It's not
£50?
as bad as it could
Any
be.
of us on £50?
That's
Are we
fine.
all done? Selling at £50.
Not
Okay.
too bad.
Bid.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some. They were nice though.
That
was lucky.
Tim's last lot now, that French silver snuff box.
Do you like my little snuff box?
I love it.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's say at £25 on this then. £25.
Easy,
25 I've been offered.
easy.
30
Straight in
with
at
you.
25.
25 I have in the room.
Great
Any of us on
start.
£25? Any of us on £25? 30 with you. Any of us for £25. We'll be selling new bid of 30 and 5, 40 and 5, 50. Not at 50, thank you. 45 in the room. Any of us from £45? All done, ladies and gentlemen.
45.
Selling
Nice.
at £45, then.
See, you do know what you're doing.
Sometimes.
Of course he does. He's more than doubled his money.
If I haven't plateaued, I have definitely gone backwards. I would be very happy to have plateaued in this auction.
I think I've definitely plateaued or gone backwards.
Okay, well, in which case we need to get on and up.
Definitely.
Okay?
Yeah, come on, let's
That's
go
the
for
instructions.
it. I'm excited.
Right, where's me calculator? Tim's peaks and troughs today mean that after auction costs, he lost £13.70p and is stranded on that plateau with £151.40. Christina, meanwhile, tried to scale the dizzy heights again, but after sale room fees, slid backwards by just over £33, yet clings onto her lead with £602.54p. Well done.
Never mind. My wizard's cake didn't work much magic for me today, did
Ups
it?
and downs of auction.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, look, we can go to the pub and watch the rest of the auction.
Can we? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Let's go and drown our sorrows.
Bottoms up. Next time on Antiques Road Trip, giddy up.
Hi, Dinky Doo!
Why are they all over the road?
Well, that's just sort of what happens around here.
Christina turns farrier,
You got any apprenticeships going?
and Tim horses around.
I think it's fantastic.
But who'll gallop ahead at auction?
Double money already.
Yes, champing at the bit for that, same time tomorrow. Over on BBC Two now, grand surroundings for Flogget as they revisit their most historic locations. While here on BBC One, computing, sports stars and coffee among the topics for Pointless.